It's a vibrant sector. It's been a quiet couple of years in Tanzania, but as of second quarter 2019, we've seen a lot more projects coming into the market. Tanzania is becoming very busy once again. A lot of new industries coming in. Kenya and Uganda have been busy for the last 4 or 5 years. They continue to be so. Very strong economies. Lots of new projects coming in. Industrial work, infrastructure, civil works. So it's a busy time.
And you're here at the Africa Investment Forum, like a lot of people on the hunt for deals here and looking for new business. What are you finding?
The AIF has been excellent so far, and the sort of cooperation that we see here from the leaders that are present, and the common vision that they share in terms of bringing Africa together and letting the deal flow really come together is fantastic for African companies such as ours. So it's good to be here, to meet the people, to hear of the deals that are coming in, to see how we can participate, and to learn what the plans are for the future. So it's day one, a lot of new relationships to be built, lots of meetings to be held, but we're looking forward to it.
And whereabouts are you getting the interest in investment in the construction sector? Is it mainly within Africa, or is there also foreign investor interest here?
There seems to be a lot of interest coming in from multinationals, coming in from Northern America, Europe and Asia into Africa. A lot of these multinationals have a long-term vision for Africa, and East Africa in particular. And what we're seeing is that we're seeing a lot of industrial construction coming in. We have a strong population base, a strong middle class that is growing rapidly every year, and infrastructure. So we see a lot of investment happening across these two spheres. So industrial construction, infrastructure construction, that's what keeps us busiest at the moment.
And what kind of construction? Give me a bit more detail. What kind of building are people looking at? Foreign investors.
So in terms of industrial construction, you find a lot of manufacturing industries coming in. So in the food industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the textile industry, technology as well. And in the infrastructure space, you see a lot of water distribution projects, a lot of roads, highways, bridges. These are the sort of things that are keeping us extremely busy in the entire region.
And surely with the African Development Bank here, they're prepared to plough something like $208 billion dollars over the next 10 years into infrastructure on this continent. Surely that's going to mean business for companies like yourself.
Absolutely. We hope so. And we want to try and make sure we take as much of the business as possible as local companies. There is still unproportionate amount of foreign construction companies operating in the region, and we want to sort of try and minimize that as much as possible to allow value to remain and actual capacity building to happen for local companies in East Africa. And the African Development Bank and other development partners are critical in making sure that happens. So that's where the funding comes from.
What are the greatest hurdles you're facing in construction right now in East Africa?
The single biggest hurdle would be that of unfair competition. State-owned Chinese companies are impossible for privately owned African businesses to compete with. And that is an agenda that is very important to me personally and to the construction sector in general in East Africa. So once again, the ADB and similar institutions are critical in helping us overcome that by them enabling local businesses such as ours.
And just lastly, what can you do about that? Can you do anything about it?
It's actually quite a simple fix. You don't allow state-owned companies to compete with privately owned companies. You actually make sure that they partner with them, in the sense that projects that come in, which are financed by the World Bank or the African Development Bank, if there is a procurement policy that makes it mandatory for the state-owned company to have a private sector local African partner, in case they want to tender for this project, it makes sure that every time a state-owned company takes on a project, there is value add being given to a privately owned local company. So it's a simple procurement policy that needs to be amended.